Welcome to the Crushin College Podcast. I'm your host, Logan Sonfarenko. We have another amazing guest today from the University of Southern California's baseball program. We have catcher Ethan Firestone. Talks a little bit about his journey from high school into college and about his recruitment process. Let's get to it.
I'm a 2020 catcher at USC.
Hold on.
I'm Ethan Firestone.
Hold on a second. You graduated in 2020 of last year for high school. You're graduating.
Yeah. Well, that's 2024.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, that's good because growing up, I always saw you as a pitcher, but it seemed that you went to Maranatha High School. You kind of established yourself as a catcher. So let's kind of walk through your Maranatha journey. And hey, you started at a different high school, and tell me a little bit about your time there and what led to transferring to Maranatha, aside from the fact that, because Maranatha is in Village Christian's division, we know how good Maranatha is. So what led to the transfer?
Notre Dame was a good fit for me at first, but then as time went on, academically for me, it wasn't the right fit. Maranatha had a learning assistance program, which helped me out a lot throughout my athletic journey and academic journey. I have ADHD and all that, so that having that there and that resource helped out a lot, which was probably 75% of the choice of why I transferred.
I don't think people realize how hard school is for not just for athletes, but in general, and especially finding the right fit. So good for you that you found the right fit. But what was it like transferring to Maranatha? And first of all, Maranatha, for our people that don't know, our people listening in upstate California or NorCal, wherever that may be, Maranatha is in Pasadena, California. But what was it like when you transferred? Were you welcomed in with some warm, big open arms?
Very much so.
Good.
My catching / hitting coach is actually one of the assistant coaches there. My facility that I hit at is literally a block away, so that's actually the home facility of Maranatha baseball, where we hit, we train, we work out, all that stuff. And then our field is actually right down the street at Jackie Robinson, which is right across from the Rose Bowl, which is an absolutely beautiful place. Yeah.
So when Jackie Robinson Field, I believe it's a home to Pasadena City College, but it's a relatively huge. It's a huge field. To left field, to straightaway center. You know, the foul grounds are absolutely insanely large. There's nothing stopping. The only thing that separates the in-play line is, the foul line, the chalk. That's what keeps it in play. But when you played there, was it a little bit of a learning curve then to Notre Dame's wicked awesome, field that everyone's used to, $2.2 million, all that stuff?
For sure. Down the line to left field, it says 375, but that thing hasn't been measured since Jackie Robinson played there. That's the running joke around there. But it's probably more like plays like 385. The wind doesn't really blow there all that much once in a while. I think I saw maybe one home run there. No, I saw 2 home runs there my whole career. One being from Eli Payton, who's a first baseman at UCLA now, and another one being probably one of the farthest home runs I've ever seen hit the year that we won CIF, from a team that I think was from Redlands. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. And then the backstop there is just unbelievably big, and the stands are huge. So the only difference was probably going from, all turf to dirt. But other than that, field's pretty big. It was beautiful. We actually had grass brought in from the Rose Bowl my junior year. They held a festival there, which completely ruined the field. And their compromise was they were going to bring infield or grass from Rose Bowl into the infield, and it was just pretty much Dodger Stadium.
That's pretty sweet. So you have an event there that kind of messes everything up, and you get rewarded with better grass. But I think that not just baseball players, but catchers in general don't realize how critical the backstop is. And if you want to play at the next level, you see MLB ballparks, the backstop, there really is none. Typically, it's where you display advertisements, so it's far back. And so clearly that had to have been a learning curve, like you just said. But how much did that impact you when you actually played ball and you were getting time in at catcher? And I don't know how, I haven't seen you play, so I don't want to assume you had a few pass balls or wild pitches, but what happened there?
What's crazy is actually my buddy that's at U of A, starting pitcher, we had a 51 inning streak where we didn't have a scored run, and I think I had 3 pass balls that should have been pass balls, but I managed to somehow get to them. But yeah, it was a big learning curve. It's huge. There's no wall. It's just a fence. So when the ball hits it, it just stops right there. It doesn't come back to you. So almost if it's a pass ball to the fence, you might as well forget about it with a runner on third because that's an automatic run. But we had a few catchers fly balls, catcher pops, as we like to call them, and that helped us out a lot because people that came to our field, they didn't know that the backstop was so big, so you could run and get it, even though maybe at certain fields it was out of play. So there was definitely the home field advantage there.
Last thing about Maranatha, I want to hear a little bit about your championship run that you had when you guys won CIF your junior year. I believe it was Dawson Nets. He was your guy from who was playing ball at Arizona, so he was your guy in the rotation. But walk me through the title run you guys had back in 2019.
That was the year I transferred there. It was an absolutely unbelievable year. Definitely one of the greatest years of my life. I mean, I had friends that I'll never forget about. Still, probably one of my best friends is Dawson. Nick Iverson, who came from Notre Dame as well, who's at UC Davis now. I mean, we had probably 11, I think 9 or 10 D1 commits on that team. It was just unbelievable. And then being able to play Cal State Fullerton's field as a sophomore, I believe, was just unbelievable. It was just super, super fun. Great learning experience. Just unbelievable.
So when I followed your journey, I saw that you had originally committed to Grand Canyon University. Walk me through the scouting process before we talk a little bit about USC. Walk me through the scouting process that led you not only to get looked at by GCU, but say, hey, I want to verbally commit. Why was it, Lopes up?
So for me, I had played on GBG, which is Garcia Power Baseball Group, and there was this other kid who is actually there now, and he was committed there. And then I also played for another team called SGV Arsenal, who had some connections there as well. And so just playing in Arizona weekend after weekend after weekend, obviously they're at all the tournaments. And so they saw me. And then one thing that they do great is they have all their kids go to a camp, committed kids go to a camp one time. They hope one time every year. So I went to one of those, performed pretty well, threw a runner out. Didn't get a hit, but I had 3 line drives. And after that, committed. And yeah, that was that. School is also beautiful. I call it a mini SC. It's all brand new, state of the art. Not the same fashion as SC, but it's all brand new. I don't know what to compare it to, but smaller.
It's a different energy than it's a smaller but big school. I like to think of it because it's not. It doesn't hold 2,400.
I know a lot of kids from Village Christian go there.
Yeah, it's a big. Apparently, it's a big lacrosse program. I know that the sets of brothers at Village, 3 of them, they all went to GCU and they're all playing lacrosse. But that's interesting. I didn't really think about that. That you're playing tournaments out in Arizona, and that led you to get recruited. But also, you say you threw some guys out. Big factor in catching is, of course, pop time. You want to flex your pop time real quick, or are you still working on getting it down?
Still working on it. Nothing crazy. Fastest time I ever recorded is probably a 1.9. But okay. There is another freshman here at USC that has a pretty insane pop time. He's got like a 1.85. So. Yeah.
It's amazing how you just said that's a really amazing pop time, and that's I think you said 0.05 difference than your pop time. You have a 1.9, you said, and then the other guy has a 1.85. But in pop time, that's just that little 0.05 just separates you so much. But now, what happened that led you to now commit to USC, and now where you're at right now? You're playing ball at University of Southern California.
What for me, I have a friend that goes here, and then another friend that was committed here or is committed here, went to Notre Dame, Tyler Stromsberg. And, I always saw him go to USC. I'm like, wow, that's a pretty cool school. So ever since then, I wanted to go there, and I got a lot better from my freshman and sophomore year. And, I wanted to stay close to home. And so as soon as they had an opening here, I hopped right on it.
Now, this is relatively not personal, Bob, but you can share as much as you want. I know USC is very hard financially. Did you get a little bit of a scholarship to play baseball, or was it more of a, hey, we have a spot for you, come on down to USC?
Yeah, hey, we have more of a spot for you. I was the second to last recruit. So, but there's definitely a lot of kids here that, are on, a walk-on kind of side. There's walk-ons, preferred walk-ons. There's a little bit of a difference, but there's a lot of kids like that. It's a pretty expensive school so for them to get some good kids, they definitely have to give out some higher scholarships.
Well, just in general, getting the words from a coach in high school say, "Hey, we have a spot for you," and USC, it's a pretty awesome program and a pretty awesome school. But now, college is definitely a thing, and also so is competition. I know that you went into Maranatha and you were playing a little bit right off the bat. Now at USC, you're a freshman. You just said you had to compare yourself to another freshman catcher. What's the competition like? Is there a spot for you right now, or are you still, hey, I'm the freshman, I'm still working my way up, and then come sophomore, maybe junior year, I'll get myself, in the starting 9 consistently?
Most definitely. The other freshman's a great catcher as well. I hurt my back about 2 weeks ago. That set me back a lot, but I felt like I was in the running. I was doing decently well, pretty well, I like to say, before I hurt my back, which is unbelievable because it was about a week and a half before season, so that set me back. But, for now, I'm just going to keep competing.
Perfect way of putting it, keep competing. Well, prayers for quick recovery. But now this podcast talks a lot about balancing school. You mentioned it earlier about how hard it is doing school in high school and how that was a big factor of you transferring. I don't know anything about USC's academics. I've just heard stuff. I feel it's hard. What's your major you are in?
Real estate development.
Ooh, that's a cool one. Tell me a little bit about that real quick.
So basically for me, it was between business and real estate development, and business is definitely a more prestigious school. It's like number 4 in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, the real estate offered I believe between 4 and 6 elective classes. So that basically means you can pick whatever you want to take that class. And so when that comes time, I'm definitely going to pick some insurance classes, being a family from insurance. So that was a big choice and why I picked real estate. Yeah. And, real estate, to be a real estate agent would be super cool as well.
You said insure, and I gotta share a quick story with you, man. Growing up, back when we went to middle school and elementary together, we always talk about companies every now and then. We'd say like, hey, there's a Windows computer, and you'd always be like, hey, my dad insures them, and I'm like, we have family of insurance. So now it's kind of funny that 4 years later we're having an in-depth conversation about your career, your education, and your sports, and you're saying family of insurance, and I'm like, I literally was thinking about that today when we were going to hop on the Zoom call. So good for you for being able to pick out a major. But how do you balance it out with your practice? What's your practice schedule like for baseball, considering the fact that it took us a while to meet on Zoom because you've got a busy schedule practicing. So walk me through a little bit about the practice schedule.
For sure. Now in season, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday game, most likely Tuesday game. Have to have a day off Monday. Wednesday, Thursday is a practice, usually 2 to 3 hours, whatever they choose. It also has to do with some NCAA rules, which I'm not too familiar with. That's why I don't really pay attention to that. But yeah, it's pretty hard. Class from 8 to 12 usually every day. I'm lucky I get Friday mornings off, or Friday off in general. But yeah, it's pretty hard. I have a midterm this week, a project due on Thursday. There's a lot of work to be done. And there's definitely a lot of kids that have more work than me. And it's crazy how they even have time for a social life after school and baseball. We don't even have a social life right now.
That's insane. I mean, good. I said good luck on midterms, man. Those things are crazy. I got to do a quiz tonight by midnight. So, but you got to balance stuff out. You got to try to, at least. I don't think anybody really has a fair balance because we're constantly adapting, especially in these times. So COVID protocols, there has to be some, I assume, with baseball and with USC. So what kind of precautions not only is USC taking, but what is the USC baseball program taking?
Oh, there's plenty. We get tested 2 to 3 times a week when we travel.
Do you get shoved up the nose, or do you go down the throat?
No, we have a spit test.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, it's super quick, super easy, super nice. Mask everywhere. Things are sanitized, 6 feet apart, all that stuff. I mean, you name it, we have it.
The stuff
Sanitization, all that.
the stuff that we've heard consistently for the past year that we're so friggin' sick of, but hopefully this stuff ends soon. But how on like a not a social level, but what's the camaraderie been like with your guys at USC? You making friends, not just with baseball kids, but just in general. And first, answer that, and
Oh,
then after that, I want to hear about: are you doing like a hybrid model type of learning, or are all your classes on Zoom?
all online. Social friends outside of baseball are legit non-existent. And I've made plenty of friends. Guys are super cool on the team. Some of the best guys I've been around. It's for sure going to be a tight team.
Well, I think that it's kind of hard to have a social life outside of baseball because that's what you're doing, and you gave the right answer. You know, you're not really supposed to be socializing, going to
Exactly.
parties. You know, I think you and me both can speak of this. Both of our camp, Cal Lutheran had an outbreak in November. I heard USC had one around the holidays, but thank God you're okay, and at least you're still doing your thing. Um, but with that being said, talking a little bit about the camaraderie, where do you see yourself not socially, but balancing things out in the future? You said that it's hard having a social life. Do you think that you're ever going to experience that college fun of, hey, maybe go like staying up late with a bunch of new people I've never met before in the commons, or whatever that may be?
Probably not for me. Yeah, I'm
Strictly
not.
business.
Yeah, strictly business. I'm not a partier, and I'm exhausted already. And what time is it? It's 7:20, and I still got to find a way to do work. So for me, probably not. I have a girlfriend, um, family. Love to see my family. So it's just going to be baseball, school, friends that are on the baseball team, family, and that's it.
Well, I gotta say, man, that's just hella like admirable that you're living so close to home. With that being said, if you want to see your family, there is that responsibility of, I have a bubble. I see my team. I see my girlfriend. But it's been that way for the past couple of months. I assume that's been the case for you. But you sound just very responsible for it. And here being with you in my life, I've had no doubts that you were going to be like a great kid, now a young man, and heading into college and doing awesome things. But when you say the responsibility of managing COVID, what is it like? How often do you travel home? Because you said USC is so close to home. That's a reason why you're there.
Not very often. I think the last time I was there was maybe a month ago, and that was during Christmas time, I believe. So maybe a little over a month ago.
Was it
Um,
hard adapting when you first moved to campus, or is it like, hey, I've been waiting for this moment for 18 years, or in your case, 19 years? Let's get it. Let's get it.
yeah, a little bit for sure. Even being close to home. I mean, I miss my parents and miss my family. My brother's off, you know, at a professional soccer academy in Arizona, so that's different. So it's only my sister left, and she's going off to college in 2 years. So
I think I just sitting around today. I really was not in the mood to make some lunch, and I think that when you first move to campus and you're like, "Hey, I don't have my parents, pack me a lunch to go to school,
yeah,
and I don't have cafe money. Like this is on me. It's a shift I got to make and an adjustment I have to make." And you mentioned your brother. How much does family mean to you? Your brother, you have a very athletic family. Your brother is in a professional like soccer academy in Arizona. Your sister is a varsity volleyball player that is getting looked at. So what does that obviously family mean to you? But also, you have that athletic family, so you guys are all have that big thing in common.
yeah, it's unbelievable. My brother, he's doing things probably better than I am. He's at a professional soccer academy, maybe going to sign a pro contract. Every kid that's on their academy team, which he's on right now, and starts almost all the minutes, has signed a pro contract or a D1 scholarship. And then my sister's playing volleyball. She doesn't know what she wants to do yet. She doesn't know if she wants to play in college, but she still could play in college if she wants to. She's very good. And then my mom being in the Hall of Fame at her school, and then my dad being a super good football player. It's just crazy.
It's pretty awesome. You grew up in a really big baseball household. I remember in middle school, this kid was one of the two sixth graders that made the varsity team with a bunch of seventh and eighth graders. It was you, and I believe it was Jake Kavinsky, if you remember Jake. It was you two.
For sure.
But man, that's just crazy. But good for you. And last question before we wrap up, I want to just get some advice from you. had a lot of ball. You played travel. You played club. You've trained with professionals. You've been looked at by colleges. You committed, then decommitted, and now you're at USC, and you're at a really good program and getting a spot, and you're getting time, which is so important now because not many sports are getting playing time because of state stuff. But thank gosh things are starting to ease up a little bit, not just with cases but with restrictions as well. But what's some advice you can just drop down?
For kids, wow. I would say find someone that believes in you and that is willing to, take you under your wing. Hint my scout ball coach and then my hitting and catching coach. But just find someone that's willing to push you and then take you under their wing and, shove you out to colleges. Just train. I would say 5 days a week at the minimum. At the minimum, do something every day almost. Maybe take the weekends off, enjoy your life. But, for sure when you're in high school, you got to grind, you got to play, you got to go out to, tournaments in Arizona, things like that.
I mean, you hit it right on the head. Not every baseball player in high school can be like, hey, I want to play at Vandy. I got to play at Michigan. I got to play at Mississippi State. I got to play at the big D1 colleges. No, you got to go where, they give you the money, they give you the spot or wherever it may be, whatever just fits best for you. And it seems that you found a program that fits best for you. Hopefully everything goes well and you guys do well this season. You said you got a tough loss the other day and your coach was hard on you on practice, but I think that's what a good coach does. And with that being said, Ethan, bro, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. It was good chatting with you.
Thank you.